Is there one over there? Will that reach over your way? No?
You know, I think we had a problem holding these microphones around because somebody
It's okay. I guess I can yell it. Shoot. I'll just reach.
Okay, well, I guess I can use this one. Does this one go anywhere?
We good?
That's about it.
That's fine.
You ready, John?
I'm good. I'm ready to go.
The meeting will come to order. Before we start the meeting, we'll have a pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, the following matters will come before the Revere License Commission. This is a regularly scheduled meeting. And the first order of business is the applications considered. The first item is Revere Restaurant Group Inc., DBA Tia Juan Margaritas Mexican Restaurant. This is an application for the Revere Restaurant Group for a change of manager from David Jordan to Kevin Light. Is there anybody here on behalf of? Yes, would you step forward, please, and give your name and address for the record?
My name's Kevin Light, home address 445 Pleasant Street, apartment number 17 in Weymouth, Mass.
Very good. And, sir, are you currently working at the Tia Marita?
Yes,
Tia Juan?
Margaritas, yeah.
Okay. And is there going to be any other changes to the license other than the change of manager?
No, sir.
Do you have any questions?
So, who's the current manager?
I am.
Who's the new manager?
That would be me. Dave Jordan was the former manager.
That's what I meant to say. So,
Yeah, they
so-
just transferred him, yeah.
Okay, so he's not here. Is the reason for the change of manager?
They just relocated Dave, so they had called me up.
Okay. Is it a full-service bar?
Yes, sir.
It is. And you've got, you've managed bars in?
Yes, sir.
Florida?
Yep, this is my
Florida bars.
third bar with Margaritas.
Okay, okay. So how long have you been there?
With this current location or with the company in general?
Company in general?
The company in general, a little over 9 years.
Okay, okay. I got no more questions.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Are there
Thank
any proponents? Hearing and seeing none, I will close that section of the meeting. Are there any opponents? Hearing and seeing none, I will close that section of the meeting. Before we proceed, I have to, excuse me, say that obviously Commissioner Guanasso is not here today. She's had an emergency, and I hope it goes well. And because of that, if we are unable to reach a decision, you'll have to come back if there's a 1-1 tie on any particular vote.
Okay.
So I just want to put that out there for everybody so that everybody understands that's what's going on here today. Okay, so before we take a vote, I'll put a motion that we approve this transfer.
Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you.
Very good. The motion is approved. The application for Revere Restaurant Group, Tia Juan Margaritas Mexican Restaurant, 85 American Legion Highway, for a change of manager from David Jordan to Kevin Light has been approved. Item number 2, Lazy Crab LLC, excuse me, 733 Broadway, Unit 1, Piping Huang, manager. This is an application for a pledge of license. The application of Lazy Crab for a pledge of license to Rockland Trust Company. Your name and address for the record,
Yes,
please,
Mr.
sir.
Chairman, members of the board. Joseph Catogio, 1 Sprague Street, Revere, representing the applicant. I represented the applicant at the point of the initial application for the liquor license, which was a few months ago. That license was approved. The situation was that the issuance of a liquor license was a condition preceding the purchase of the condominium that houses the restaurant. This is the old Sebastian's on Broadway. So part of the purchase was the business and the condominium that houses it. Again, prior to the completion of the purchase, there was a condition that the liquor license issue. We got that. When we went forward with the purchase, the lender at that point decided that an additional collateral for the loan to complete the purchase of the condominium would be a pledge of the license. This is the reason why this was done in 2 stages. We had no idea that they were going to require that at the time that we initially applied. This is a pledge to a commercial lender. It is for the sole purpose of completing the condominium purchase. Even though it is a condominium, it's considered a commercial loan purchase because it's commercial business that's housed in it. There is no other interest in the license going to no other party and for no other purpose. So it is just for that sole purpose.
Very good. Thank you. Do you have any questions, Commissioner?
So, yeah, it's just, I know Sebastian was a restaurant, but it's not Lazy Crab?
It will be. It'll be, there are some slight renovations that'll be done, but it'll be a restaurant similar, in all manners, just as we represented when we applied for the license in the first place. The bar remained the same, seating capacity.
So the license is getting transferred from Sebastian's over to the new, restaurant?
No, we applied for a new license.
For new license?
Yes, and we obtained the license.
Okay.
Like I said, a few months back. It was a new license that was applied for. Sebastian's, unfortunately, because of the death in the family, the license lapsed, so we weren't able to
Oh, so the
transfer.
other one, okay.
Right.
All right, very good.
So there'll be no other changes to the license other than the pledge?
Nothing.
Okay,
No other
very good.
changes.
What's
Thank
the,
you.
when's it opening?
The stages are that now, once, if and when the pledge is approved, there are funds that'll be released that'll complete the purchase. And then there is some minor renovation schedule that'll go forward immediately, and we'll hope to, look at an early spring opening.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
We'll close that section. Are there any proponents? Hearing and seeing none, we'll close that section. Are there any opponents? Hearing and seeing none, I will close that. I will make a motion that we approve this transfer.
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
The pledge, actually.
I'll
You second the motion? Very good. The application for a pledge of license of Lazy Crab LLC for a pledge of license to Rockland Trust has been approved. Thank you very much. Item number 3, Espo Enterprises, Inc., 22 Witten Avenue, Extension, Gerald Esposito, manager. This is an application for a change of officer for a Class 2 motor vehicle dealer license. The application of Espo Enterprises, Inc. for a change of officer, said officer being the addition of a new officer. Name and address for the record, please, gentlemen.
Gerald J. Esposito Jr., 95 Whitten Ave, Revere, Mass.
Gennaro Angiulo, 9 Vernon Street, Nahat, Mass. 01908.
Thank you very much. And can you explain what we're doing?
I'm retiring,
Okay.
so
He's going to stay on part-time.
I'm going to stay on,
Books
yeah.
with me,
But
file the papers with the registry, the state officials, and he takes care of the checkbook, but I'll be primarily responsible for the business.
Very good.
Doing business together for, I think, over 10 years at that same location.
Right.
No violations or restrictions.
Very good. Do you have any questions?
So it's an existing used car, used car area, so it's basically you're just gonna be running it day to day?
Just changing the offices.
Where is
uh,
this?
Spots. That's the old Fowler Marine where GJ Towing operates,
Okay.
right on the Lynn line, near the GE
Gotcha,
Bridge.
gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, okay. I have no more questions. I'm good.
Very good. Well, thank you. So there's going to be no other changes to the license, just the the change from you,
He's gonna be the
Mr.
president, I'm gonna be the
Esposito,
secretary.
to Mr. Angulo. That's going to be it.
That is correct.
Very good. All right, thank you very much. I'll close that section of the meeting. Are there any proponents out there? Hearing and seeing none, we'll close that section. Are there any opponents out there? Hearing and seeing none, we'll close that section. I will make a motion that we approve this
I'll second the motion.
change of officer. Very good.
Thank you.
The application for a change of officer for a Class 2 motor vehicle dealer license is approved. The application of Espo Enterprises, Inc., Gerald Esposito, manager, for a change of officer, and change being the addition of Mr. Angulo and a new officer, has been approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 4, 7-Eleven, Inc., DBA A+, number 40076H, and A+, number 40292H, 1030 Broadway and 781 North Shore Road, respectively. Francisco Vernal and Yosef Asni, managers, respectively. Mr. Vernal? I'm sorry, who is here on behalf of this other corporation?
So, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. So my name is Raymond Coulard. Okay, I reside at 4 Bacon Drive in Saugus, Mass., and I'm actually the region leader for 7-Eleven.
My name is Nadeem Shakur. I'm an area operation manager for New England Market. I live in 85 Valentine Road, Northborough, Massachusetts.
Thank you very much. And what are your plans for this license? I see you want to transfer a 2 common victualers license.
So right now, 7-Eleven is in the process of finalizing the acquisition of the Sunoco properties. Not every single property, but the majority of the properties. Right now, to the best of my knowledge, we don't plan on doing an awful lot with these stores until 2019. So this is more just a change of ownership, making sure we have the proper victular license and everything under the 7-Eleven corporate entity.
So the common victualers license that you're looking for, this is not, you're going to be preparing food on the premises, you're going to be serving food on the premises?
So the 7-Eleven model does have prepared food on the property right now. I'm not sure what preparation is done in the stores, but right now, the operation is going to stay exactly the way it is until we start the process of remodeling and doing the remodels inside and outside of the locations.
And when would you expect that remodeling to commence?
Right now, the latest I heard from yesterday is that we're not going to start this process until 2019.
Do you have any questions?
So is no one from no representation from Sunoco's here, correct?
Yes, I'm here from.
Oh, you're from Sunoco?
Yes.
Okay, oh, I'm sorry, okay. That's good. So these have beer and wine at
No,
these?
there's no beer and
convenience-
wine, nothing will change. We'll have the same manager, same staff, nothing is going to change. Just the ownership.
Gotcha. No more questions.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll close this section of the meeting. Are there any proponents? Hearing and seeing none, we'll close that section of the meeting. Are there any opponents? Hearing and seeing none, we'll close that section of the meeting. I will make a motion that we approve the application of transfer of the 2 common victualers licenses.
I'll second the motion.
The application for transfer of 2 common victualers license of 7-Eleven, Inc., DBA A+, for transfer of 2 common victualers license from Sunoco, Inc. Requested hours of operation, both locations are 24/7. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That'll take care of the applications for consideration. The next section of the meeting will be hearings. The police officer's here, so we'll take that out of order, okay, to make things quiet first?
This might be quick, though. This first one.
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Okay. Okay, very good. So we are going to take the items out of order right now. We're going to take item 6 first. MFRP Corp., DBA The Squire, 604 Squire Road, Peter DePisa, manager. This is a hearing into possible violations of law and regulations stemming from an assault and robbery at that location. Yes, sir. Your name and address for the record, please.
Peter DePisa, 5 Kilmarnock Street, Wilmington, Mass.
Very good. Mr. DePisa, what can you tell us about what happened at this particular incident from your perspective?
I was in the office counting money, so when I went downstairs, the police officers had the guys in custody and handcuffs in the liquor room.
Very good. If you don't mind, sir, why don't we hear from the police officer? Since he was on the scene,
That's fine.
he can probably tell us both. Officer Internicola, if you'd like to come and tell us what happened here. And your name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Joseph Internicola, Sergeant Revere Police, 400 Revere Beach Parkway. Is that all right if I use that address? Thank you. So on the night of December 22nd, morning of December 23rd, I'm usually there once a week working a detail, as I was today in uniform. Shortly after 1 in the morning, someone brought to my attention the fact that there was a fight at the other end of the bar near the bathrooms at one of the benches and tables. So myself and the other officer that were assigned to that detail, who's an officer Ahern, immediately went down there with several employees to break up the fight, in which we did so, but one of the combatants got up from the ground and must have grabbed the bottle because he didn't have it when he was on the ground, and swung around blindly and struck me in the back of the head. He was subsequently arrested and charged for disturbing the peace, resisting arrest, assault and battery on a police officer, and assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. And at some point, the club was shut down well before 2 o'clock. As soon as the incident happened, we turned all the lights on, they turned all the music off. I called for medical aid and backup, and there was, I
What
noticed,
was, if you don't mind, I'm sorry to interrupt, but what was the security doing during this time?
they're just stationed at different areas of the club. So 2 at the front, 1 at the back. One was on the, in the corner with one of the rooms. So they were stationed, normal spots. It looked like 2 different skirmishes, so I'm not sure where people were. I was in between one, then another fight happened on the other side of like a bench. So there was people dealing with that as much as dealing with what I was dealing with as well. So there were people around the area.
Did it appear to you that there was over-service involved?
No. I mean, again, I couldn't really tell how intoxicated the combatants were. I really only saw the one that struck me. And he's in there literally every week I see him. He knew my name. And that doesn't make it okay. And I obviously charged him and arrested him as such, but he tried to deny hitting me and striking me and swinging the bottle. But it is a regular in there that has never been a problem. And I'm usually there and assigned that job every Friday. Whereas that kid, when he enters the club, will shake my hand and shake everyone else's hand. He's known to everyone. Again, the other person, I didn't see his face. He was separated, like we would do in any fight, separate the 2 as quickly as possible. I didn't even see that person because I was focusing on the other one.
Did you happen to see this thing on video after to get a sense of what happened around you as it was going on?
I didn't see the video. I'm not sure there is video. I think having a conversation with him, with Peter and his brother about obtaining that for court purposes. You can ask him about that, but I don't believe the recording devices are still on scene. I think they were taken for a previous incident because the DA did ask me about that, and we were going to try to get that right away. But I had a very good, obviously, view of what happened. I saw that it was a Corona bomb. As my attention, as he swung around, I saw it coming. It was just too late to do anything about it. Unfortunately,
Well,
got struck.
I understand. Now, from your perspective, did you feel as if the management and the security did everything they could to protect you, or to at least make sure that the patrons were protected? Was there a situation that you felt was, that they did what they were supposed to be?
I have to say that I'm pretty sure Peter was holding my head and got blood all over him, making sure that he was addressing my wound. I didn't know I was bleeding. I didn't know I was bleeding at the time. I felt it, but I was more, my adrenaline, whatever was going, I wanted to arrest the bad guy, the suspect that did this to me. And he tried to make light of the situation, like, I hope you don't have any diseases. I remember everything, and he's holding my head with the rag. So I would have to say yes on that.
Very good. Now, as far as thinking of this thing in retrospect, are there things that you can think of that going forward we could do to prevent these kinds of things from happening?
There was two of us there. Maybe one of us should have been the other end. We were together chatting a little bit, and normally at the end of the night, around 1:30, Sal send the other guy down there, or vice versa. Maybe we should do that a little bit sooner on our end. I think that having two guys down there is, unfortunately, when it's busy on the weekends like that, is a necessity, but that may always not be a luxury. People not always working, whether it's a Pats game or whatever, but having two guys there and having them separate on either side of the room and making sure that there's a police presence there and people know that is probably, on our end, what we could all collectively do. Along with his staff that's usually down there, he should be posted with the police officer.
Would you think that an additional police presence would help? Would an additional officer have helped in that situation? Are there things that can be anticipated going forward?
I think two guys would be suffice, I really do. Like I said, one on one end, one on the other. I'm not sure much more could have happened. Again, I believe the suspect was losing a fight and saw an opportunity to grab a bottle and try to swing at the person that was hitting him, and which was a bad call. He banned him for life the minute, as soon as we arrested him, before he left, you're never allowed back here again. And that's taking proper precautions. We informed him at the station as well that he was trespassed. It's hard to predict someone, especially someone like him, who's a regular, who's in there all the time, is going to be a problem. I didn't see it coming. I'm
Okay.
sure he didn't.
Fair enough. Do you have any questions, Commissioner?
So the tape, you said that there's no tapes available? The video camera's on? Chief? Is it-
The last incident, they took the DVR. We have a borrowed DVR that only records 4 cameras, so we chose to record 4 outside because that's what they advised us to do.
So, moving forward, so there's nothing inside right now?
Correct. We do have cameras, we can watch if somebody's in the office, but there's no recording.
No recording? Okay.
So you have no cameras inside the place right now?
No, we have 16 cameras.
Whether they work?
They all work. The DVR only records 4.
So the DVR only does 4?
Correct.
So you really only have 4 cameras in there?
4 cameras that are recording, correct.
Right.
But those were outside, you said?
Correct,
Okay, so there's no inside recording?
correct.
Do you have any cameras out in the parking lot?
Yes, we have 6 cameras outside.
Any of them connected to the 4 that work?
Yes,
So inside you only have 3 then? Or how many cameras?
we have 16 cameras total, sir.
I understand you have 16 cameras. However, the VCR only holds 4 cameras.
Correct.
Correct. So in actuality, you have 12 cameras that aren't hooked up to anything. And then another 6 cameras outside that aren't hooked up to anything. Is that what you're telling us?
No, you can live monitor each camera from the office on the TV screens. They just do not record.
Right, but they're not hooked up to you. They're not recording, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So in this situation, did you see any of the incident happening?
No, I did not. I only saw when the DJ came and got me.
Okay.
I ran downstairs, I gave medical aid to Joe. The kid was already in handcuffs.
Okay. So all right, so I guess at the end of the day, they weren't there. Having them recording this situation, I'll ask the police officer, is that important to have that, or we have witnesses to know that this guy or this kid, did swing them? Could this kid get off without witnesses,
There's
basically?
no way, there's plenty of
Well,
witnesses.
the other officer that was there with me wrote the report with me after I left the hospital, and I'm as good a witness as any, but it is good. In a previous case, we were able to use the cameras. That is a bonus when you're going to
Correct,
trial,
correct.
but again, he's going to try to inquire when to get his equipment back. And I inquired with the detectives as well, but I would imagine once that case is resolved, he'll get his equipment back. But that's above my pay grade.
Yeah. No, I understand. I just was,
Right.
it seems like, sometimes without a clear witness, if no one's going to step up without cameras, it could be a problem getting this kid,
I believe there's at least 12 witnesses that saw the
Okay.
incident, so
So we do
there
have
should be
that.
no problem prosecuting.
okay. So, staying with this kid, did he have past violations there, or was this first?
Never had a problem.
With that kid, okay. Was he intoxicated when you arrested him? Was he in rough shape?
I
You know-
didn't transport him,
Oh, you
and
did
I didn't
not.
see him at the booking area, but,
So, any idea if he was in the report?
Doesn't indicate.
No, I was asking Officer,
No, the report doesn't indicate that.
okay, so we don't know, okay. Okay, so I got that. So from best of your knowledge, best of your, I guess, knowledge at that situation, do you think that the owners were negligent in anything outside of, I guess, not having video, DVRs, the cameras, but other than, having enough security in place outside of just you two, do you think there's anything that could have been done that could have prevented something like this?
I honestly don't, because how do you predict that something like this is going to happen? Unless there was an incident in which we let it go and let him stay because he was a regular, which didn't happen. If they saw him arguing with someone and let him stay and just said, oh, don't get into a fight, none of that happened. There was no pre-warnings to this. Everyone is patted down at the door by a bouncer, and I stand there to make sure, number one, I'm where the register is at, where the money is, most of it anyways, when people come in and out. And I make sure that when I'm in there, that whoever comes in and out of that place sees that there's a police officer there. So that's why I typically stand near the register on the other side, because I want every patron to know that there's a police officer present. So it's clear that one of those combatants, the suspect that got arrested, knew I was there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt he's there, and I'm there usually once a week. We have assigned jobs that we usually get. That seems to be my Friday assignment from the detail office. So I'm a regular just as much as he is there, only I'm not.
So in terms of capacity, was the place full, or was it an average crowd, or was it over?
I wouldn't say, it was definitely
It's never at capacity, so it's probably an average Friday night.
average Friday
I would
night.
say there's about 100 people in the place.
Okay.
100 people?
Yeah.
So it happened at 1:20. What time do you usually stop serving? What, 1:30?
We stopped, the last call is 1:30.
Last call, 1:30, okay.
And we turn the lights on at 10 up 2. Everyone's out of the building by 2 o'clock. Parking lot's cleared by 2:15.
All right. So I guess the question I have now is, all right, what happened. Moving forward, what are we looking to minimize an altercation like that, or limit the violent part of it in terms of some of those are weapons when it comes down to it, the glass, and if they didn't have weapons, but a broken bottle is a weapon at that point. So what are you thinking about moving forward?
I think that's on the judicial system. I mean, they have to make a punishment fine enough. They allowed that kid to get bailed out that night, I don't know how.
Well, in terms of the bottle itself, I mean, we're looking at maybe
I don't know if there's any way to stop it.
going to plastic, going to cups.
They don't have plastic for on-premise operations, but, I mean, you can't make plastic bottles with a champagne bottle, a wine bottle, so I think it was an isolated incident.
Okay. But in terms of the beer bottles, could you go plastic, or?
They don't have plastic for on-premise.
How about full plastic cups? Would that not fly?
We're trying to become an upscale gentleman's club and get a higher clientele
Okay.
than to worry about, people putting weapons. So I think it's going to lower the establishment when plastic.
I have, excuse me one second, I just have one quick question. How many security personnel did you have on that night?
We had 6 security staff, plus myself at 7, and the DJ, if we really needed someone, would be 8. And we have a bar back that would be 9, plus 2 police officers.
Now, the security staff, are they, I know that there was an incident back last year or the year before where there was some recommendations made regarding what was going to be going on with the security staff. Specifically, there was some training that was to be happening with an operation that was going to be training the security
They're all
people?
certified and trained in crowd control and security presence.
The 6 people that were on were certified in crowd control?
Yes, and security.
Is that something that you do for all of your
I
employees
do
when
it
they
for
come up?
all new employees.
I'm interested in your thoughts about, we've been thinking about perhaps that maybe beer bottles are not suitable for being out on with the general public, that perhaps plastic cups would be more in line with safety and to prevent things like this from happening to Officer Internicola again or anybody else in the future. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, my thoughts, if someone's evil enough to, to hit a police officer, they'll just pick up a chair or a bar stool and swing that if they had to. They're going to find something to use as a weapon. Like I said, I think it was an isolated incident. I don't think it's ever going to happen again. I just think the judicial system needs to make the punishment severe enough that if someone's going to strike a police officer, they go away for 10 years. Very simple. If they bail them out right away, that shows the public they have no respect for police officers. So I don't think going with the plastic's going to solve the problem. If somebody's looking to damage a police officer, they're going to pick up a chair, they're going to pick up a bar stool, pick up a pocketbook. I mean, they'll do something. That's my opinion.
I understand that. Officer Internicola, when have you been involved with other disputes in there? Have you seen other fights in that place? I mean, I know there's always arguments and people getting in beefs, but
Well, 2 years ago, I arrested someone in there that was about to get into a fight, and he turned his aggression from the person he was attacking or fighting with, and then one of the security guards got in between that, and then I got in between them, and then he turned his aggression to me. And I don't think that was he wasn't on alcohol. Whatever that guy was on, there was something different. He was on some mind altering. I testified. We had the cameras. I was able, he actually was the only witness that showed up as well, and the guy was found guilty. But long story short, that man was extremely strong and unable to reason with. And again, another incident, how do you predict that's going to happen and prevent it?
okay, well,
Other than trespassing that gentleman as well and keeping him out of there and arresting him and charging him and going to trial. That was I believe, the last fight that I had or incident.
have you heard of, from the other officers regarding people throwing bottles? Has that ever been an issue, or?
Not that I heard, but Lieutenant Randall might know more. I'm there often, but not as, that much that I would know.
This is the first incident that I've, since I owned it, that there was been a bottle used. So I believe we've owned it now for, I don't know, 5.5, 6 years now, so.
Okay, do you have any other questions,
So I
John?
guess it comes down, from a safety perspective with, obviously the police and even you guys. And I guess it comes down to, are you comfortable with the bottles, right? I mean, I understand you can use other weapons, but the quickest and easiest thing is grab a bottle and use it as a weapon versus a stool or chair. It's a little more difficult. How do you feel about that, Officer Internicola? Because, again, not having glass bottles it's not 100% safe in there, but it's a little more safer than having the glass bottle. So I just want to...
Actually, Commissioner, if I could speak on that. I spoke to the chief about this at length, and the chief is of the opinion that the club should not be handing out bottles over the bar, that we should switch to another mode of delivery for beer. And I would imagine with champagne or wine or anything else, that the Revere Police Department is of the opinion that there should not be bottle service at this particular location at this time.
Okay.
Okay, on that note, and I had a similar conversation with the chief, and he suggested possibly aluminum cans, but I don't believe that would solve the problem. I mean, I would imagine a full aluminum bottle can do the same blunt trauma. Especially, I think they're served at a Red Sox game or whatever with the caps on them, so you'd be able to cap that. Now, I mean, or if someone had a cap and could cap a full bottle, I mean, I'm not sure if there's much you can,
So, but
That
did you
would
say,
do.
it's Peter, right?
Yes.
Peter, did you say it's not allowed in,
They don't do it for not on-premise operations, so we serve 12-ounce beers, and the only thing I ever heard was 16-ounce beers being in plastic bottles they serve at liquor stores. So it would be an increase in cost, and it wouldn't be cost-effective for us to do that, to buy all new glassware that breaks all the time. Like I said, I can see if this happened every day, every week, then we have a problem. I mean, this is an incident that we had a problem once in 6 years. I mean, the other guy, 2 years ago, his fist was more stronger than the beer bottle, and this guy was on acid or some kind of mind-altering drug, and he just had like human strength. He probably could have done the same damage if he connected. That's my opinion.
gotcha. But if they were available in the 12-ounce bottles, that could be an, because to me, you know, from a prestige perspective, having a glass or aluminum bottle doesn't change the perception of the place. Yeah, obviously, plastic cups would, but because you really can't tell the difference.
But
visually.
I think if a customer wanted to do damage, he can smash a glass in
Correct.
someone's head too, so
Correct.
we're back at the same
Correct.
spot.
Correct, on the glasses, correct.
Right.
On the mixed drinks. So, okay. Interesting.
All right, well, I would like to make a motion to continue this for 3 months and see, do some research and see exactly what is, if this problem is something that is, I mean, Officer Intercola doesn't seem to think it is a silver bullet as far as preventing this kind of thing. And so if it is going to not be that and be more of a hindrance, then perhaps it's not something we ought to do, and maybe we ought to look around and see what some other cities and towns are doing, perhaps, or, I don't know, I mean, that would be my
Well,
Commissioner, I can
suggestion.
tell you that in this city, there are other bars that do not hand bottles over the counter. They pour the drink into a paper cup, and that's how it's delivered.
Very good. Well, do you want to make a motion to,
Well, you know, I understand, we get a lot of different, not opinions, but we got facts, we got opinions, we got, it has been a one incident since you've owned the place in 6 years, of this particular situation. I get it. It's not happening every week or once a year, it's happening
Correct.
once. But I understand there's other, establishments using that, not handing bottles over. So, I think I want to table it and, without having my other colleague here to discuss. 'Cause
Very good.
She's a very, very, she's been involved in this a lot longer than I have, and she provides a lot of value to this board, and she's not here to comment. So I'd like to hear what she has to say, and possibly maybe, come back here next month to discuss, you guys come back and discuss preventative measures, and maybe including,
That's fine.
because I don't want to just make a decision without thinking things through. I'm very methodical when it comes to that. I like to think things through and not just, Lieutenant Randall, that's the first I was aware when he just brought it up. It throws a whole new, piece of information into my thought process. So, without further ado, I'd rather just table this to the next meeting, and hopefully another incident doesn't happen in the next 30 days, but I'd like to have you come up, if that's okay, and come back with any potential remedies, that may come up we didn't think about today.
That's fine.
And I understand, from a financial standpoint, it's more money, I get it, but safety does come first. I'm sure you understand that.
if you could come back with some type of a cost analysis of what that would cost you to put them into bottles, that might be, to put them into a plastic cup, that might be something that would be helpful.
Okay.
Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to make a motion to continue this for 1 month, and then you'll come back at our next meeting. Hopefully, you'll have a full complement of commissioners, and we'll be able to to come up with something reasonable and that we can all live with. Okay?
Thank you.
Do I have a second on that?
I second that motion.
Very good. So we're going to continue this until our next regularly scheduled License Commission meeting. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Well, there was one other incident, wasn't there, in the parking lot?
Yes, there were, well, I mean, that's kind of comes under the part and parcel of the same thing, I think.
If I can briefly speak about that?
Sure.
I haven't seen the police report, but it's 100% a falsified police report. I don't know who wrote it, but there was at least 15 police officers in that parking lot up until 3:30 in the morning, and every customer was cleared. So if this guy got robbed in front of 15 police officers, we have a serious problem.
Again, you know, I would take that as, you know, good information, but the lack of a security camera out there puts you at a kind of a disadvantage on that, doesn't it?
Well, no, there is a security camera.
There's none that are hooked up to anything.
No, the DVR's
Yeah,
outside.
there's four cameras on the outside of that building.
Are they hooked up to a VCR?
Yes, they are.
DVR, yes.
So do you have film of this?
I have to go back and check, but we should.
Sure.
Robert DePisa, 3 Zaloga Way, Middleton, Mass. I'm also one of the owners of the club. Usually when one of the detectives calls me about an incident that happened, whether it was our parking lot across the street, I go back in the DVR. The temporary DVR that we have goes back 5 days maximum, because he did call me about Officer Nicola's incident. I went back. It went back 5 days. He had called me like 10 days later. I couldn't go back that far. The other issue is, we have never been aware of this incident at all. No officer has ever contacted us, no detective has ever contacted us. When we saw this in the letter that was sent to us from the Licensing Commission, that was the first we ever spoken about it. I even asked Officer Nicola, do you know anything of this? He goes, I've never seen any report on it. So I don't even know who the person is or anything of that nature.
So it says it happened at 10:20 a.m. Is that correct, or 1:20 a.m.?
I think it was 120.
Okay, well, it's a typo, okay, that's, also it's 1:20, okay. All right, that's where I was confused. You guys don't open that early.
No.
Okay, so as far as you know, you're not aware of this until 10 days later, that's what you said?
I was never aware, I'm still not aware of this whole incident here. When the detective contacted me about Officer Nicola getting hit,
Yeah,
it was about 10 days after the incident, and I tried to go back on the DVR to see if there was anything in the parking lot or anything, and it only went back 5 days.
gotcha. Lieutenant Randall, any feedback on this report?
No, all I have is the same as what you have, just in the report. I remember the 10:20 is when the report was made.
So,
That's not the time of the incident. It says it happened after closing.
who made the report? Oh, Officer Herrera. Okay, she's not here. Yeah, I mean, she's not here, so I can't comment on anything other than,
No, he just went to Officer Herrera, he went to the station, just took a report from a victim, and this is basically just the victim's statement. I'm sure it's being investigated, I don't know where it is in the investigation
All right.
right now.
we'll table it if it comes up.
Very good. So we'll see you guys in 1 month.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
guys.
Just real quickly on that matter, that's about the time that I was being put into the ambulance. And what I did hear over the radio was that I think every unit in the city was sent there, because when they heard me call for backup, they
Right.
sent not only the Revere units, they contacted state police, Saugus, Malden showed up. There was a Malden canine there that I saw as I was getting into the ambulance. So the parking lot was flooded and cleared. I just find it hard that a victim or potential victim didn't approach any one of those officers that were there, making sure that not only I was safe, but everyone else was safe, the club inside and out, which is what they did, and cleared the lot, like he said. I find it hard to believe that somebody was robbed and didn't file the report right there and then with all those police officers there. There was no fight outside when I was being escorted in. The suspect was already handcuffed, escorted out the back. The cruiser pulled up in the back. That put him right into the back of the cruiser.
Sure.
And severe icy conditions that night. So I can't see how this could have happened on that particular night in lieu of what took place with me in the presence of police from multiple jurisdictions there. But that's just my
And
opinion.
you're doing okay now?
I'm doing,
Okay.
I'm okay, yeah.
Oh, good. That's most important.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Pisa. Excuse me. This is, excuse me, item number 5, Heng Chang Inc., DBA Jing's Garden, 163 Squire Road. Willie Lee, manager. This is a hearing concerning health code violations and opening the business in direct violation of a health department order of closure. Is there anybody here on behalf of Jing's Garden? Hearing and seeing no one, I think that,
Excuse me, Maggie?
sir, are you for Jing's Garden?
I'm the food inspector for the city.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't recognize you. You want to come up and introduce yourself?
Absolutely.
Michael Wells, I'm the food inspector for the city of Revere, 249R Broadway.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
What can you tell us about the Jing's Garden situation?
I performed a routine health inspection on December 6th, at which time I ordered the restaurant closed at 3:30 p.m. on that day for serious health and sanitation violations. I did a follow-up inspection on December 12th, and then again on the 19th with the Fire Department Deputy Cheever, as they had some issues with their Ansel system. On that day, they performed a Ansel system test with a balloon test, and the deputy signed off on that with a pass. The manager / owner of the establishment called me a couple more times to come down and do a reinspection to get him open, which I did. And when I asked for pest control reports, he hadn't had any in about 5 months. So I ordered him for a pest control company to come in prior to me reopening the establishment. He had a pest control company come in. I verified, he said, the pest control gentleman sent me via email a copy of the contract and the pest control report, which stated severe sanitation violations. There was rodent activity in the building as well. He asked for him to, with the shop vac behind all of the equipment, to clean up all of the droppings that were behind there, as he wouldn't be able to tell if they were new droppings or old droppings that were already there. Fast forward to December 26th, leading up to New Year's Eve, which is one of the busiest holidays for a Chinese food restaurant. He still hadn't done anything as far as what he made some progress on my end, but he had not made any progress on the pest control end. So I had a conversation with him. I told him, if you get this done, we'll make sure that you're open for, the New Year holiday. Not here to hurt anybody. He didn't call me that entire week. I happened to drive by around 3:45 on New Year's Eve and noticed that his open sign was on, and there were people entering and exiting the building with bags. I pulled over, I went in, and I immediately shut down the operation once again. So he opened without health inspectional services approval. Also, he had removed the Board of Health sign off his window numerous times throughout this, since December 6th up until December 31st. So, he certainly had 25 days to get the place in order. He chose not to. And then he took it upon himself to open the establishment on December 31st. Without approval.
Did he give you any explanation for why he was doing what he was doing, or?
Well, no, not really. He didn't want to lose out on the weekend. I understand it's your busiest, but I gave him plenty of opportunity. He had 25 days to get the place cleaned, which is certainly a sufficient amount of time.
Now, I
He
noticed,
didn't want to, as far, you know, the way I look at it is he didn't want to get down and dirty and get this done, you know, so. He had talked about selling it a couple different times, and then he told me that he was just walking away from it, so.
the photographs look pretty, it looks like a really, a lot of sanitary code violations, a
Yes.
lot of exposed food and things such as this. Does the guy have any training? Does he have any food service?
He did have ServSafe certification. But, you know, I mean, there were quite a few violations in there. You know, the hood hadn't been cleaned in over a year and a half. And there was, I believe there was a fire in there not that long ago. Prior to that as well, so.
So he's,
And then I also have pictures of New Year's Eve of what the place looked like as well with, again.
Did you go back in the kitchen on New Year's Eve?
I did.
Had it been cleaned at all, or was?
Well, it was definitely better than the pictures that you are seeing. However, when I went in the kitchen on New Year's Eve, there was food literally on the floor. I have pictures that I can leave for you of just, you know, pre-cooked food. Just the place looked like they had been operating for forever on New Year's Eve when it was literally one day that they had been open. But again, even on that day, stuff that we had talked about through over the past month were already in violation. So.
Very good. I noticed that there was some fire extinguishers that were like years out of
Fire
date.
extinguishers were out of code.
Had those been addressed, or was that
He
something?
did have a fire alarm, he did have fire protection come in, take care of all that stuff with his Ansel system and his fire alarm system.
Very good.
so I mean, it's pretty safe to say he had all his violations, he shouldn't have been operating until he hasn't done it. I believe he's still operating, correct?
He is not, no.
Oh, he's no longer operating. So is he going to try to open up again, or we don't know?
Haven't heard from him.
So he's out of sight, out of mind, yeah. So what do we do from here?
Well, we have taken under advisement, his license is up for renewal. I think we can, I will make a motion to not renew the license.
Has it been renewed? He hasn't renewed his license, I tried to. Okay,
It's on the list today,
he's not even here.
and he's not here. So I think that speaks for itself. Well, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate your time, and thanks for coming up.
Sorry
You're doing
you
a
felt
valuable
like you-
service for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. This is the New Year's Eve pictures if you're.
Sure.
Now, do you-
I can email them to you for clarification.
Do we find these owners if,
I did give him a $250 fine for removing the sign off the door.
any,
But the problem with that is the fine goes to the landlord because it's attached to an address.
oh, okay.
The landlord can give it to the tenant, I'm assuming, if it's in their lease, but, you know, a lot of times,
So it hasn't been paid?
fine, not as yet that I'm aware
Okay,
of.
all
But
right.
the fines go to the owner of the building, not to the tenant.
That's
Very good.
I don't agree with that, but anyway.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll make a motion to continue this also until next month, and then we'll have an opportunity to see what's going on with the place, and
Yeah, he is not to open until, you know, at least the next month until he gets approval of his
Right.
license, I assume.
right, and
He's
so,
aware of that.
so we can close this. I'll make a motion to close this part of the meeting.
Correct. So are we going to send him a letter saying he is in violation if he opens? Or is that not our job?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to get clarification before I voted. So,
Are you second the motion?
I'll second the motion.
Very good. The hearing will be continued till next month. Thank you very much, Mr. Wells. That concludes the hearing section of the meeting. The next is a communication from the Alcohol Beverage Control Commission of a return of no action for a transfer of application of Argueta and Pichet Corp., DBA Nino's Italian Restaurant. The next order of business is license renewals for 2018. For common victualer's license, I'll read them all, and we will vote on them all together. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, do you need to do the address or just the?
No, I'll just read the name of the establishment. First is N Pizza Inc., then we have Speedway LLC, Speedway LLC, Lee Burbank Highway, Tory LLC, Safi Market Inc., Choco Lafe LLC, Target Corp., Trifecta Donuts, Courtyard Donuts Inc., North Shore Road, Courtyard Donuts Inc., American Legion Highway, RMG Donuts, excuse me, the Del Hellenic Company, Baja Inc., Justin Donuts Inc., Mehrun Islam, DBA 7-Eleven, RDG Martone Inc., DBA Figaro's. And that is it for the common victualers licenses to be approved. I will make a motion that we approve all of those common victualers licenses.
And, yeah, we didn't name Jing, so, okay. I second the motion.
The next are entertainment licenses, RMG Donut LLC and Baja Inc. Those licenses, I'll make a motion to approve the entertainment licenses of those.
That motion.
Precious Metals and Jewelry, the Jewelry Box Inc., and also for secondhand dealer, Jewelry Box Inc., and pawnbroker, Jewelry Box Inc. I'll make a motion that we approve those renewals.
I second that motion.
The parking lot, a DTG Operations Inc., DBA Thrifty Car Rental. I will make a motion that we approve that.
I'll second the motion.
Class 2 motor vehicle dealers, Joseph DeFeo, Circle Auto Gallery, Inc., Charlie's Auto Exchange, Inc., Joseph J. McDonough, Avitus John Nakashian, Surab Rob Nakashian, the Hertz Corporation, Bob's Auto Body Services, Ltd., Toria Al-Fahadi, DBA Wonderland Auto. I'll make a motion that we approve those Class 2 motor vehicle licenses.
I'll second that motion.
For Lodging House, our House 2 LLC. I'll make a motion that we approve that.
I'll second the motion.
And I would make a motion that we continue Jing's application for renewal till next month and put it on with the hearing.
I'll second the motion.
And I believe that concludes the business for today. Is there a motion would you like to make a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I will second. Oh, I'm sorry, we can't do that yet. The next meeting would be the third Wednesday, February 21st, 2018. I will now second that motion to adjourn. Thank you very much.